Hello, and welcome to DevonWay's Tips and Tricks video series.
Okay, so in this video, we are going to show you how to create a report using days of the week to display your data. In order to do this, we're obviously in a BI report, so this is what it will look like eventually, and I'm going to create it here from scratch so we can teach everybody how to do it. So the first thing we need to do is just start a search on a module that we're interested in. So for this one, I've selected condition reports, so that's the module we're going to query on. We see there's only 92 items, so there's not much there. This is just test data. First thing we need to do is change to report mode. And I'm just going to leave it in table view for a second and bring in a couple of fields. So we're just going to say, look at the identifier and look at the date created. So here we see it's the date in the date format, but what we want to do is display that with the day of the week. So the first function we're going to create by hovering over this icon here, say create a calculated field. As mentioned earlier, we're naming the field day created. So we find that function down here that we talked about, day name, and we're going to use the field date created. So get it to where you can see that. You can just double click this date field name, double click date created, it replaces it. We are set, so now we're going to have a field called day created that takes the date created field and just applies that function to it. We hit validate, we see it's successful. Now, if we add that field to this report, there we go. We have the day of the week that each of those items was created. So what we can do now is simply put this into a chart. So I'm going to just delete these fields, change this to a chart. And let's bring in that field we just created, day created, and this count field. And automatically it summarizes it into just the summarize values. If we open that up though, here we have a somewhat useful report. So we see that Friday there's 12, and we've got the whole week spread throughout here, how many were created. Unfortunately, it's alphabetical. So we have Friday, Monday, Saturday, Sunday. So that's probably not how you want to report that. So that's why we need to introduce this other calculated field called case. So in order to sort these up by the day of the week that we want, we'll have to go in and create that one. So we're going to create another calculated field. I just remembered one thing I wanted to touch on. So in addition to day name, we also have the option of month name. So if you ever had a need to do that, you can also pull in the name of the month. For now, we're going to use case. So we're just going to find that. And it's got this long explanation of what it does, and it doesn't really provide too much help here. So what I'm going to do is just flip back to another slide in the slide deck that and describe a little bit about what we're going to be seeing here. So this is a little description of the case function. So this long explanation here is available online to explain how it works. I've broken that down a little bit to make it a little easier to understand. So this first expression before the comma is really just the field that we're interested in. So that's where it's day created. And then after that, each of these expressions just work in pairs. So the first one is the first if, basically. So if we jump down here, we say if it's Sunday, then we bring back this first return, which is a 1. The second one is if it's a Monday, it brings back a 2. If it's a Tuesday, it brings back a 3, and so on. And you can list as many of those as you need in pairs, all referencing back to this first field. At the end, you can put a default catch-all. In my example, that wasn't needed. So let's jump back to the demo. So in this case statement, as you can guess, that's pretty lengthy. So I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I have this already typed up for me. So here we're saying use the date created field, and if it's a Sunday, that's in single quotes, bring back a 1, also in single quotes. And then that just alternates going through as many as we need. So we'll name the field. Validate it. It all works. Create it. It now shows up down here, so we can bring this field in as well. We can expand this over, and we thought that really didn't help because it still has Friday, Monday, Saturday. So to fix that, we just simply need to make sure that this field is first in this list instead of second. So if we drag that over, there we go. So now we're sorted by the day we want, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and there we have it. If we'd rather have this in color, we can simply hit this button and that will flip, and that changes it a little bit on how it's drawn. So a last bit of bonus on this demo is you'll notice in my initial one, I have these values on the top of each bar or each column. I'll show you how to do that as well. So here we are, we've created it. We have the chart pretty much how we want it. I'm going to click on this help button and help. Now this help, as I mentioned, we've put a lot of time into updating that lately, and it's context sensitive, so it knows that I'm working in BI right now. So if I click help, I'm going to open up a help page that says creating BI reports. We have a bunch of submenus down the left here, and one of those is report type of chart, which is what we're working on right now. So I'm going to jump to that. And there's quite a bit of instructions that help you understand how to create charts, what some of the various functions are. The one that I want to show you, though, is we get down into this one that's called Advanced Chart Formatting. And in this example that's behind this window, you can see there's a value on top of this column. That is done using this advanced chart formatting that I'll show you, but the reason I wanted to bring you to this web page is we've put in here some of the more common advanced chart options, so you don't need to memorize them or write them down or do anything else. You can go to this page. And the one that I want to use is this one that displays data values on a chart. So what I need to do is just copy this. So I'm just going to select that, copy it, and note what I want to type in there when I set it up is true. So I'm going to go back to here. And the way you do that is viewing a chart, you click on chart format from this gear icon, click on advanced, and it has this page. So we're going to add a new property. So we click that, and this is where I paste in that value that I just copied, or that property. And I need to type true, check it, make sure it works out okay. And there we go. Those values are now on that chart as they were in the example. So easy enough to do. So now it matches this example I was talking about here. So again, there's just the two functions. The one is very simple, day created. It's just the day name function and then the date field that you're interested in. The case is a little more complex. You really just need to understand the field you're interested in and then pairs of the values going across on what one you're looking for and what value you want to replace it with in the new field.
Thank you for taking time to watch this DevonWay tips and trick video. We hope that you have enjoyed it and that you'll be able to apply what you have learned to help you be more efficient in your job. And remember, you can view a categorized list of all DevonWay tips and tricks videos at docs.devonway.com at the link below. Thanks. Goodbye.